Developing this morning, news that Donald Trump is escalating the sanctions placed upon China to what is being called a new level in the devastating trade war that has caused tensions between the U.S. and China to grow to an unprecedented level. Reports from China state that this action will not be without repercussions and has caused fears for the future of peace between the two countries. Keith, our East Asia correspondent, what exactly has China said in response?
Well, Heather, they're saying this is a declaration of a full-blown trade war, saying that they do not want to fight a trade war, but are fully prepared to do so. That's a pretty strong statement, commenting that the United States are resorting to pressure and blackmail, wanting Trump not to be irrational, as they put it. So yeah, strong words and warning maybe of testing times ahead.
Yes, thank you, Keith. And that's the second time in the last few days that we've heard such strong words coming from China. Only fools build such walls, they said just yesterday.
Well, y'all, that was another fine track by Jackie Green with the Gone Wandering. Next up in your daily chart rundown, a lovely little tune, Little Sadie by Crooked Still. Dear Diary, after years of being the laughingstock of the world, it's refreshing, no, empowering, that under the guidance of Donald Trump, that we're now climbing back to our rightful place as the most powerful superpower in the world. After years of failings, incompetence, and weakness under Obama, it's refreshing to see a true American hero in charge of the country and leading us back to greatness. For too long have we succumbed to the will and the demands of other countries, giving aid to those that don't need or deserve it, bending to the demands of trade tariffs, importing cheap, poor-quality goods from China, while our own industrial powerhouses fall to their knees. I remember as a child the mammoth vehicle manufacturing plants in Detroit, producing the world's best cars, Ford, Buick, Chrysler, Lincoln. Now all we see are Chinese, Taiwanese, and Korean cars silently gliding up the freeway. All looking the same and probably all made in the same Chinese factories by the same Chinese workers using the same cheap materials. Hell, it seems that in this world now, quality counts for nothing. Gone are the days where you bought a car and it really lasted. Nowadays, cars all look alike, sound alike, and are seemingly as cheaply made and just as disposable as an electric razor. For so long, we've wanted, in fact needed, a leader as strong as Trump. Someone with the nation's best interest at heart, not afraid to put our needs first. Balls to the rest of the world. They need to understand that America, the land of the free, will not bow to anyone. Not Russia, not China, no one. They need to understand that the greatest nation of this planet was born from the determination, grit, and hard work for the founding fathers, and that we don't need them. We will succeed and prosper with or without them. We're the USA. We beat the Nazis in World War II. We beat the commies in Vietnam. We don't need Europe, Russia, or indeed China imposing their beliefs here in the land of the great, just like we don't need them imposing their cheap, inferior goods either. With a bit of luck, Trump will hold strong on this. In fact, I'm certain with Trump in charge, we can make America great again. Until tomorrow, USA, USA, USA.
Tensions increased further last night, with relations between the USA and China at an all-time low following the breakdown of talks between President Trump and President Xi concerning the trade war that has developed between the two superpowers in the last few months. Trump was quoted as saying that neither China nor Russia nor anyone else will bully America into trade concessions, and that the rights of America and the American citizens will always be top priority. Trump was quoted as accusing China of the greatest theft in the history of the world when it comes to trade with the US and of currency manipulation. He also went on record saying, "There are people who wish I wouldn't refer to China as our enemy." But that's exactly what they are. They have destroyed entire industries by utilizing low-wage workers, cost us tens of thousands of jobs, spied on our businesses, stolen our technology, and have manipulated and devalued their currency, which makes importing our goods more expensive and sometimes impossible. Here's Keith with the latest update from Beijing.
Thanks, Heather. And yeah, following the breakdown of talks yesterday and Trump's subsequent statement effectively labeling China as the enemy, Beijing issued a response that effectively put an end to the possibility of any further negotiations in the near future. President Xi commenting that the time for talking was over, that China would not be bullied by the USA and the Trump administration. It seems that we've reached a critical point indeed. Russian President Vladimir Putin also issued a statement commenting on the strength and unity that Russia and China have, with a relationship built on trust in areas ranging from politics to security and defense. A statement of solidarity, or a warning to Trump and the USA as a whole. Heather, back to you.
So next time you're passing by, pop in to see Bubba J at the Rib Shack for Alabama's finest ribeye and juiciest burgers. And now, back to today's chart rundown. Next up, numbers 30 to 20. Dear Diary, it's interesting to hear Putin throw his weight behind China and President Xi Jinping. Although entirely predictable, Putin and his band of commie cronies have been waiting for years for a reason, any reason in fact, to stand up against us. Those commie bastards hate the USA and everything it stands for. Truth, justice, and the American way. They want to keep the people down, to control, to dictate, and dominate. What's next? Germany offered their assistance at the negotiating table? We all know how that ends. With the Aryan cleansing of America and the notion of VW people cars offered as an affordable means of transport for all. We need to stand up for ourselves. Stand up in the face of communism and Nazism and make a statement of power, a statement of intent that we don't want and don't need these people. All we need is to invest in industry here, invest in manufacturing, invest in technology, and invest in the armed forces. We already have the greatest army in the world, strongest navy, and the most powerful air force. We don't need to fear these people or bend to their communist demands. We don't need China, we don't need Russia, and we certainly don't need Germany or in fact any of Europe. We just need each other. And a strong, passionate president like Trump to lead us to success. You know what I think? This might actually be a benefit to us all. We get to stand alone, our great states truly united, a wholesome and God-fearing nation with wholesome and God-fearing people at the helm. This could be the greatest day in the history of the United States of America. Well, this could be the opportunity we've been looking for, hoping for.
Tensions between the US and China took a new and possibly sinister turn today as Japan, North Korea, Iran, Iraq, and possibly most interestingly of all, Turkey, voiced their support for China and the regime of President Xi. With reports coming in over the last few hours with regards to the movement of military personnel and equipment, U.S. troops and mobile missile units are being mobilized close to the borders of North and South Korea, Egypt, and Turkey, whilst Russian units have been spotted by satellite crossing the borders of Macedonia, Hungary, Ukraine, and Romania. What is still unknown is what exactly will come next. A climb down from Trump, a military retreat from Russia, the acceptance of import-export tariffs from China. It's hard to see any of these military superpowers standing down in what is rapidly becoming the most highly charged conflict between these nations since the end of the Cold War. Heather Jackson, WBC News.
And that's one thing y'all can be sure of here at Green Sky Radio. That while this crazy world gets crazier and crazier, the songs will keep on coming. Dear Diary, well, what a surprise. It really didn't take long for the usual suspects to pal up to China now, did it? Russia? Well, we all know how they feel about the West. They do anything to undermine anything and everything we do. North Korea, Kim Jong-un? Well, how long has he been spoiling for a fight? Iran, Iraq? Hardly a surprise that these countries that have resisted our offers of support, democratic structure, and stability over the years have now turned against us, despite all we've done for them in the last 20 years or so. I'm just waiting for Germany to throw their roller huts into the ring now. Interestingly, I spoke to Jerry from down the road earlier. And West, he may be a bit of a survivalist nut. Well, he did speak some sense. He said the war's coming, no mistake this time. He gave me a list of supplies that I should make sure I have before the bomb drops. Now, I'm no survivalist nut, but to hear some of those things come from the mouth of a real person, but not just some fool on the TV, is actually quite scary. Anywho, I'm not quite sure where I'm supposed to get some of these things from. Potassium iodide to block the thyroid uptake of radioiodine. I don't even know what that means. Well, I doubt they sell it at the 7-Eleven. Tertian blue. Contracts cesium and thallium and prevent them being absorbed into the digestive system. Persian blue. I'm sure my darling Beth used to use that in her cakes with coloring. Dang, I can't remember now. It's been so long since I ever tasted anything as good as those cakes she used to make. Damn, how I miss you, Beth. What's this last one on the list? Filgrastim or neopogen to stimulate white cell growth if radiation has affected the bone marrow. Gee. Jerry also gave me a leaflet on how to survive a nuclear attack. Kinda looks like he ran it up all by himself at home on his computer. But hey, well, it might give you for some light reading entertainment. Anyway, I got time for much chit-chatting today. It's almost 6 p.m. now, and I still need to bring goats in, feed the chucks, and bring Daisy in from pasture. But life goes on. In Trump we trust.
Breaking news: the escalation in tension between the U.S. and Asia reached new heights this morning, with China, Russia, Egypt, and Turkey expelling all U.S. and allied diplomats with immediate effect. The U.S. in return has also issued a mandate expelling diplomats from the same countries to come into effect at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight. This is just the latest and so far the most significant event in what is being touted by some as the greatest risk to peace, civilization, and mankind in modern times. Whether this is true or not remains to be seen, but what does seem likely is that this is not going to be the last we hear in these worrying times between these formidable superpowers.
Which is why the good old USA will triumph no matter what. In Trump, we have a leader that is not scared of showing the rest of the world just what makes America great. The beautiful scenery, the beautiful people, and maybe most important of all, the beautiful music. On that note, let's get back to it. Dear Diary, Jerry came over again today, straight after he heard about the expelling of the diplomats. He seems adamant that this is it, in days. It does seem that this situation has certainly gotten a lot more serious in the last day or so. Jerry asked if I'd read his leaflet, if I'd started to get prepared. He said something about a bug-out kit, which is not, as I thought, something that a pest control officer might carry, but apparently something I'll need for the upcoming apocalypse, as he put it. Apparently, I'm supposed to put a kit or bag together that contains everything I'll need to survive the initial 72 hours following an attack, the most critical period according to Jerry. Water, food, first aid kit, cooking supplies, fire starting tools, torch, radio, I don't know, other things too. I can't remember now. It's all in the leaflet, he said. I gotta take things seriously, he said. He said a lot without really saying anything in my mind, though. Anyhow, I promised him I'd look at his leaflet today, but in reality I'll probably cast an eye over it, enough to be able to maintain conversation when he asks me about it again tomorrow, most likely.
We interrupt this program to bring you news of U.S. and Allied forces-led airstrikes at the Syrian-Turkish borders today in what President Trump has called preemptive strikes against Turkish terrorist forces. Initial reports state the large-scale destruction of government and military targets in the Turkish border town of Nusaybin. President Trump has praised the successful operation, calling it a catalyst for positive strides forward in the ongoing conflict with Asia. Other leaders across the world have condemned the attacks, with President Putin and China's President Xi issuing a joint statement in which they label the strikes against the Turkish military a clear statement of war and warn of immediate and significant retribution. Keith, what more can we expect over the next few days?
Thanks, Heather. Well, following this new worrying development, one thing we can be sure of is that we now know that the situation, the one that started, remember, with a trade disagreement, has now escalated into something much more. Something much more dangerous, sinister, and simply much more terrifying than we ever thought likely, or even possible at the time. It remains to be seen exactly what was meant by the words immediate and significant retribution. But we are being told that security at government facilities across the nation has been raised to levels not seen since the end of the Cold War.
Keith, thank you. We have just received an official comment from the White House that President Trump will be issuing a full statement in the next few hours. More breaking news to follow once we have notification of the president's address to the nation. Heather Jackson, WBC News.
So whatever happens, y'all, remember Bob and Jane's tire place down on Sandside Avenue for all your car and truck tires. Next up, the chart countdown with Randy Buckworth. Dear Diary, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. We were promised that the stubbornness shown by China in the trade negotiations was just posturing and gesticulation, pontification before they bow to our demands. Yet this seems more. Now, I'm sure that Trump has good reason for these attacks. They were terrorists, the report said, but something just doesn't feel right. It seems different than when we bombed Afghanistan or Syria. They were known terrorist organizations, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. But this was the Turkish army. I had to read through Jerry's leaflet this morning. I don't know why, really. Curiosity, morbid fascination, fear of what might actually happen next. But whatever the reason, I read it. And you know what? Some of it makes sense. You know, to be prepared, just in case. I also got a bag together. Not a bug-out bag, really, but more just somewhere to keep all the first aid stuff. And some bottles of water, and tin food, and a torch. Yeah, just good housekeeping, really. Well, looking at this leaflet, though, I don't really see how I can build a fallout shelter. Well, that's just ridiculous. But I do have a basement here at the farm. That's the second best option, apparently. Well, that's what the leaflet says, anyway. So I took the spare camp bed down there this morning, and some books, the old TV from the spare bedroom, radio, and my new bug-out bag. All set for the apocalypse. Failing that, it'll make an interesting let on Airbnb. Dear Diary, Happy Thanksgiving, etc., etc. It's been a strange morning. Started off in the usual way. Put Daisy out in the fields, fed the chickens, came in to make breakfast. Nothing unusual there. But noticed that Mike hadn't been with the paper this morning. It's happened before, no biggie. That boy is a flake if ever I knew one. Anyway, came in, put the bacon on, turned on the TV, and there was nothing on. Like nothing. I don't mean that I couldn't find anything interesting to watch. There was literally nothing on. At all. No news, no reruns of Jerry Springer, not even a test image tone or whatever they call it. Nothing. Well, I've tried the radio too, and all I get is static. Now, I know reception can be patchy out here sometimes. It's over 30 miles to Airborne and 70 to Atlanta, but well, I can always pick up something. Funny, hard to concentrate without Randy and the chart countdown. Must be 20 years I've been listening to that show. And it feels hella strange sitting here writing this without Randy to keep me company. I tried to call Jerry a few minutes ago, but, well, the phones are down too. I'm thinking I'll have a drive over and see if he knows what's going on. I hope the TV gets sorted out before the game tonight. The Falcons are playing. Green Bay Packers. Should be a good one. Dear Diary, just back from Jerry's. Took me a while. The car wouldn't start, and it's a fair walk. Almost 5 miles round trip, and to make it worse, he wasn't even in when I got there. Maybe he's gone to see his daughter in Airburn. Strange, though. His Chevy was in the drive. Saying that old piece of junk is always breaking down, so well, that means nothing. He could have taken his truck, I suppose. We've had some power issues, too. Nothing much. Lights flickered, that kind of thing. Probably a good idea to get the old generator fueled and the boiler firing just in case. Keep me busy, I suppose, and saves being cold as well as bored. I might dig out Pop's old record player from the barn, too. Drives me crazy sitting here in this silence. On the positive side, there was the most beautiful sunrise this morning while I was out walking. The most gorgeous deep golden amber you've ever seen. Kinda wish I had taken the Polaroid with me. Never seen anything like it. Never ceases to amaze me. The beauty of this little old planet of ours. Dear Diary, still no TV or radio. Presume the local transmitter is down. Must have been a hell of an electrical storm or something. I guess I slept through it. Can't imagine it'll be long until it's back up again. Anyway, I got the old genie fueled and stocked the boiler fuel, so at least I have power and heat if we do have any more issues with the electricity. Seems to be okay at the moment, but better safe than sorry. That's what Beth used to say. No newspaper again today. Guess I'll have to drive down to town later on and have a word with Jim about that paperboy of his. I also need to pop into Doc Greenhouse, too. Daisy doesn't seem herself this morning and didn't seem too keen on milking.
CQ, Alpha, Niner, this, Tablet, buddy there.
Hello? Hello, is somebody there? This is Romeo Whiskey, Foxtrot 1. Can you hear me? Over.
CQ, OB, that. Right. Okay. Over.
Hello? This is Romeo Whiskey, Foxtrot 1. Can you hear me? Over. Dear Diary, it's been a busy morning. Daisy doesn't seem bright. No milk at all today, and she just seems off. Kinda hard to describe, but, well, I guess when you've known someone for so long as I've known my Daisy, then you just get a hunch for this kind of thing. Plan was to call Doc Greenhouse veterinary surgery, but the phones are still down. On top of that, I still can't get the car started. The TV and radio are still on the blink, and the only thing I get working is the old ham radio. And all I've been getting out of that is static. Yesterday, though, I did get something else. Not sure what it was exactly. The voice is all muffled and too much static, so this morning I climbed onto the roof and mounted the aerial way on up there. So maybe, just maybe I'll get something approaching decent reception on this old piece of junk. CQ. CQ. This is Romeo Whiskey Foxtrot 1. Is anyone on this channel? Over. This is Romeo Whiskey Foxtrot 1. Is anyone there? Over. CQ. CQ. Is anyone there? This is Romeo Whiskey Foxtrot 1. Over.
Romeo, 1, receiving. This is arm, over.
Damn it, I hate this thing. This is Romeo Whiskey Foxtrot 1. Receiving. Please identify. Over.
Hear me. Rob, can you hear me? Is that really you? It's Jerry.
Jerry? What's going on? What are you doing on the wireless? You okay?
Rob, Jesus, I can't believe it's actually you. You're the first person we've spoken to since, well, you know.
What? Since what? I've been having all kind of problems out here. The TV's on the blink. My phone is down. I can't even get the car to start. But I need to get down into town. Daisy isn't too well, and I need to tell Jim I ain't been getting my paper for days, too.
Rob, are you telling me that you don't know?
What are you hollering on about, Jerry? Don't know what?
Rob, it's gone. It's all gone.
Jerry, what on earth are you going on about?
You really don't know.
Know what?
They hit LA first, then New York, Washington, Atlanta was next. It's all gone, Rob.
Who did? They did what?
Rob, you're not listening. They nuked us. EMPs, too. The cities, the government, it's gone.
Don't talk foolish, Jerry. I ain't seen no bombs or mushroom clouds or any of that.
And you won't. It's 70 miles to Atlanta. You won't see a thing, but believe me, it's gone. The last contact we had was with Bob at the Steakhouse Inn, and he said all of Auburn was burning, the whole town burning down to the ground. He said there were people, bodies, everywhere. And now, nothing, no contact with anyone. Well, not until you, anyhow.
This doesn't make any sense.
Rob, listen to me. Whatever you do, do not go outside. It might look safe, but the fallout, it'll kill you. Did you set up the shelter like I told you?
Well, yes, but...
Just listen to me. You need to be in the shelter for at least the next 14 days. You should be in it already. Make sure you take the Prussian blue. Filgrastim, and Neupogen too. If you have some exposure, they should help as long as you've not had too much. And Rob, listen, just look after yourself, okay?
Yeah. Yes, of course. What now?
Just get yourself organized and safe. Take the ham radio to the shelter. I'll check in every 24 hours. We need to stick together.
You're right. Okay, Jerry. Thanks. Over.
Over and out.
Dear Diary, I still don't really know what to make of this conversation I had with Jerry yesterday. It can't be real, can it? Atlanta, New York, Washington, all gone? Jerry isn't one for tall stories, so I guess maybe. Surely not. I decided yesterday to get settled in the basement shelter. I bottled up a stack of water, bought the food down here, the radio, that kind of thing. Jerry said I have to stay in here for the next 2 weeks. I didn't have the heart to tell him I'd already been outside more than once. Damn it, I even walked over to his on this morning. It all happened. What was it he said I was supposed to take? Persian blue, Neupogen, something else? I don't suppose it really matters. I didn't buy any of them anyway. Anyway, early night tonight. I think I can feel a migraine coming on. With everything that Jerry said, is any wonder, really?
We have no bananas today.
CQ, this is Golf Sierra Foxtrot 1. Seeking Romeo Whiskey Foxtrot 1. Over. Romeo Whiskey Foxtrot, do you read me?
I'll read you. Jerry, that you?
Hey, Rob. Loud and clear. How's things over there?
Yeah, not too bad. Hell of a storm last night.
Damn right.
Not seen a storm like that this time of year for some time. Snow, too. Feels too warm for snow, I thought. Crazy.
Rob, that's not snow. Whatever you do not go out there.
What do you mean?
It's ash. Radioactive ash. Fallout from the bomb.
But that was like, what, 5 days ago now?
Yes, but the storm last night brought it down from the atmosphere. Rob, I mean it. Do not go out there.
All right. I need to see the Daisy, though.
Rob, no, you can't. It's too late for that.
But...
No, you can't help her now. This is the most critical time. You must stay in your shelter. Don't even think of going out. Not even for a moment.
Okay, understood. Over and out. Dear Diary, I can't stop thinking about Daisy. Surely there's something I could have done, or could do. I can't just leave her out there, sick, alone. Surely there's something. I could just go out to the barn quickly, check she's okay, close the barn shutters or something. That'd be okay, surely. I can't think straight at the moment. This migraine is killing me. God knows what happened with the goats and chickens. I've not heard either of them for days, so I don't know. I suppose it's too late for them. I can't believe this is really happening. I'm just glad my Beth isn't here to see this. See how much of a mess I've made of everything. But maybe it's just me being selfish. I'd do anything to actually have her here, even just for a moment. She'd know what to do. I've slept in the basement now for the last 2 nights. I say slept. I don't think I actually slept a wink. How could I after all this? Plus, my headaches keep me up too. I got up to get some aspirin and a glass of water, but, well, in my semi-sleep-like state, actually came upstairs to the kitchen for the water. I have a case of water downstairs in the basement, where it's supposedly safe. Yet I decided for some reason to go upstairs for some. Still, it took me no more than 30 seconds or so. Can't imagine it did any harm, really. Damn, this headache. I can hardly think straight. Hopefully it'll be better in the morning. Dear Diary, for the first time in what must have been 20 years, I slept in today until gone 12. I'm used to getting up at the crack of dawn, 4 or 5 a.m. to tend to the farm, but, well, there's not much farm to tend to anymore. So, well, don't know. I think I heard Jerry calling on the radio a couple hours ago. I'm not sure. I'll give him a call later, most likely. Otherwise, he'll be worrying. He's like that. Anyways, I must have needed the sleep. My headache's almost gone now. Certainly better anyhow. It must have rained last night, too. Most of that radioactive ash, or whatever it was, seems to have washed away. I'll go upstairs later and see exactly what's going on. I actually think the worst of it might be over now. Last night, as I was trying to sleep, I was lying down on the bed, listening to some music, when out of the corner of my eye, I saw some movement. I turned to see what it was, and on my life, I swear, it was a mouse. Now, you might not think that's anything particularly special, but you see, here in good old Alabama, we get plenty of barn mice, harvest mice, and the odd house mouse. But they all tend to be brown or gray. This mouse was white, and I mean brilliant white, like I ain't ever seen before. Anyway, I saw him come out from under the skirting over in the corner. And as sure as I'm sat here today, he just looked over at me, stopped, and sat there, staring right back at me. He wasn't scared, or at least he didn't seem to be. It was almost as if it was a sign that everything's going to be okay. I'm sure of it. I'm going to put a little something down for him to eat tonight. I don't think I have any cheese, though. Well, there might be some biscuits in the cupboard upstairs. But I'm supposed to stay down here, right? Oh, yeah, I need to call Jerry, too. Mustn't forget. Maybe he preferred chocolate, though. I think I have some chocolate. Do mice drink? Yes, of course they do. I'll put some water down, too, just in case. What was I going to do again? Oh, yes. Get the biscuits.
CQ. Romeo Whiskey Foxtrot, do you read me? Rob, do you read me? It's Jerry, do you read me? Is everything okay? God damn it, Rob, are you there?
Dear Diary, it's amazing what a difference 24 hours can make, isn't it? Just think, 24 hours ago, 24 short hours ago, I was alone, truly alone in this world. Now I have a friend. Quite possibly the best friend I've ever had. You see, in life, we gather friends over the years. Yet in reality, everyone wants something from you. Is looking to get something from you. They either want to use you for personal gain or want to step on you on their way up the ladder. They're not really friends. Not really. Not like Bojangles. You see, from the first night he came to see me, I knew he was special. And I knew we'd get along just fine. He was like a beacon of light in this dark world. A little furry mouse sees beacon of hope and inspiration. For so many years I looked towards our country's leaders to push and drive us forwards, when really all I had to do was to look at inside my basement all along. I didn't know how long Bojangles has lived there. Maybe he's always been there. But what I do know is that in the 24 hours since we met, we've become closer friends than anyone would imagine or believe. He's listened when I told him about Beth and her amazing cupcake recipe. He listened when I told him about Jerry and the end of the world. That reminds me, I need to call Jerry on the radio. I felt so alone before Bojangles came. So really alone. But now, life doesn't seem so bad, really. Yes, life isn't perfect. Maybe it never will be again, who knows? Yes, I'm still getting headaches, it's true. I'm not sleeping, and to be honest, it wouldn't be nice living with this stress. But Bojangles was telling me about his family last night. He was telling me about how he left the circus and ran away with a beautiful barn mouse called Penelope. Oh, it's so good not being alone anymore.
CQ. CQ. Damn, Rob, are you receiving me? Rob, it's Jerry. Just pick up. Over.
Receiving. Hi, Jerry. How's things over there?
How's things? Rob, I've been trying to get hold of you for the last 3 days. What's been going on over there? Are you okay?
Yeah, fine. Don't worry. Just been busy. Sorry. Kinda lost track of time, you know.
Busy? Doing what? Rob, it's so important we keep in touch.
I know. Sorry. I've had a friend over and we were just catching up on old times.
A friend? What are you talking about? Who came over? Rob, you're not making any sense.
Oh, it doesn't matter. You wouldn't understand.
Rob, listen. I made contact with Eli over at Woolworth's farm a couple of days ago. They were having some issues with looting. Nothing major at first, a couple sheep taken, chickens, you know. But then Eli was telling me that these raiders had been looking around, trying to get into the farm itself. And they'd only took off when he fired his old Winchester at them. Problem is, that was 2 days ago. I ain't heard from him since.
Okay.
Rob, the Woolworth farm is less than 4 miles from here. And if they've gone back and, well, my farm is next on the map, and yours the one after.
Anything could have happened. I'm sure they're fine.
Somehow I don't think so. We need to prepare, Rob. You need to prepare.
Prepare how? What exactly am I supposed to do? There's just me and just me here. If they come, they come, and, well, that's just the way it'll be. Dear Diary, it's a beautiful day today. The clouds have cleared, and for the first time in God knows how long, there's a stunning blue sky. You could be fooled into thinking that nothing was wrong, that life was just plodding on as normal. But that's the thing. Life isn't just plodding on. The thing that hits you the most, truly the hardest, is the nothing. The lack of anything, of everything. The silence. There's no noise from a distant airplane or from a truck on the road or anything. There aren't even any birds singing in the morning. There's just nothing. I've given up sleeping in the basement. What's the point? I mean, what's the point of going on living like this, in fear, cowering in the dark basement on a camp bed each night? I figured I might as well at least be comfortable. So last night, I just went up to bed. Let me tell you, there's nothing quite so satisfying as lying on your own comfortable bed. Last night, or maybe it was the early hours of this morning, I don't know, I came to the realization that this war, or whatever it is that is going on, might actually be a good thing. For decades, we've slowly but surely been destroying this planet, taking its resources, polluting, multiplying. And what good have we, as a race, ever actually done? There's no other species on this planet that causes even the tiniest fraction of the damaging impact that we do. Think about the circle of life. One species exists in order to ensure the survival of the next. But what do we exist for? Why? What do we give to this planet? What benefits is there of us being here? I realize that in order to answer that, we have to rethink the whole scenario. We're not just another species that exists on this planet. We don't exist in harmony with nature's circle of life. We are something different. We are a virus, pure and simple. When we multiply, we consume, we destroy. And what's the best way to deal with a virus? Simple. Eradicate. So maybe this war, this destruction, was meant to happen. Maybe it's what this world needed. Maybe those of us that survive will look again at what we've become, what we've done, and just maybe from now on we'll do it differently. I'm not sure I'm gonna have the opportunity to be one of those that finds out, though. Maybe that makes me out of the lucky ones, though. I don't know. On reflection, maybe going from that walk to Jerry's was a bad idea. It's not the nausea that bothers me particularly. The headaches, well, I've kind of gotten used to those now, too. I've not had a full head of hair for nigh or 30 years now, so losing a little more hardly makes a difference. It's the sleep, or should I say the lack of it. You just don't realize what it does. The tricks your mind plays on you after 4, 5, 6 days without sleep. I started seeing things. Well, first it was a glimpse of Beth in the corner of my eye. Then I could hear a dog barking, but it wasn't just any dog. It was Bruce, my old collie. But he's been gone 10 years or more, too. Last night I could have sworn that Daisy was in my bedroom complaining about how I left her out there to die all alone. I sat watching the TV this morning, and I must have been watching it for a good 2 hours before I realized I was just watching the fuzzy static of nothingness. 2 hours. That's just not right. I need to keep it together, to be strong. I'm not crazy. I'm just tired. Anyway, I hear Bojangles shouting me. Must be time for dinner. CQ. CQ. This is Romeo Whiskey Foxtrot 1. Seeking Golf. Simon. Water. One. Jerry, you there? It's Rob. You there, Jerry? Jerry. Jerry, are you receiving me? It's Rob. Pick up.
Jerry here, receiving. You okay, Rob?
Did you hear it, Jerry? Did you hear it on the radio? They're coming, Jerry. It said so on the news.
The news? Rob, are you okay? What are you talking about?
The Chinese, they're coming. They're liberating us. We're gonna be assimilated.
Rob, calm down. Slow down. Tell me what you mean.
I was listening to the wireless this morning, and the Chinese president said so. He said that they have landed on U.S. soil and will be taking control of the government with immediate effect. They're coming, Jerry. The Chinese, they're gonna kill us all.
Rob, the radio hasn't worked in ages. There's no broadcasting at all. No news. No reception of any kind. Rob, are you okay?
Jerry, you're not listening. I heard it. Well, they're not taking me. I won't stand for it. This is America, land of the free. And I won't have it.
Rob. Rob. Are you there, Rob? Rob. Answer me.
Dear Diary, Jerry doesn't believe me. I know he doesn't, but I heard it. I know I did. The Chinese are coming, and they're gonna kill us all. There's no way I'm going down like that. Jerry thinks it's the invaders, the raiders, he called them. That's the danger, but they're nothing compared to the Chinese military. I mean, come on now, a group of hicks with pipe guns and sticks, or the full might of the Chinese army. Who would you fear the most? This farm has been in my family for 5 generations. There's no way I'm letting anyone take it from me. Not a group of hillbillies, raiders, nor a full battalion of the Chinese infantry. It's mine. I won't give it up for anyone. I was born on this farm, and I'll take my last breath on this farm. I'm under no illusions, don't get me wrong. I know I can't take on the full Chinese army, but I can show them the depth of will and strength that a true American possesses. I'll show them. If one lone American can stand up against them without fear, without hesitation, imagine what we can do if we all pull together. United, a nation like never before, making this country great again. No more will we stand for oppression. No more will we allow the needs for the few outweigh the need of the many. No more will we allow the fat cats to sit on their high tables fearing while us more mortals scavenge and fight over the tiniest scrapes just to survive. If only. In truth, I know there are only 2 ways out of this situation. Both of them involve me in a body bag. So what do I do? Do I make a stand? Take as many of them out with me before I go down in a hail of bullets with one last hurrah? Or do I do it on my own terms? By my hand? By my choice? The truth is, the decision has already been made. Bojangles and I said our goodbyes this morning, and I set him free. He'll be back with his family by now. I can't wait to be back with my Beth. How I've missed her. I'm coming, Beth. U.S. Army! Is anyone here? Search and Rescue Corps. Is anyone here?
Search. Here. One body. Deceased.
To turn away, leave it all behind. So inclined, somewhere I will draw the line. The ground is hard, the trail